Good afternoon and welcome to the Cynically Acute podcast. I'm Lamont. This is Tylon, and this is episode 2.
You know, I actually go by AKA Frankie Lyman, AKA Moneybags, AKA Honorable T-Note, AKA the Anonymous Nobody. Today's cynical fact is Lizzo is fat.
Is a fact. Very cynical. You know, I'll give it a B-.
I give it a C.
Now, as y'all saw in front of the Pentagon and in front of the Department of Defense, a crazy man who was deemed a wackadoo admitted to working on government projects and admitted to the existence of aliens. This is the third time that someone who has either worked for the CIA or the Department of Defense has admitted that aliens are real. And the public does not give a fuck. I do not. As a black man in America, I don't care if aliens exist. Do you?
I don't believe aliens exist because I ain't hear about that in the Bible.
There were aliens in the Bible.
There was aliens in the Bible?
Yes.
When?
There were several types of aliens in the Bible.
When?
One, they said there were angels. Angels count as aliens because they don't come from Earth.
How do they count as?
Because they're extraterrestrials.
They're not extraterrestrials. They don't come from another planet.
They come from another plane of existence. They come from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Also, are people from other dimensions? Do they count as aliens? I think as Americans, we would just call anybody
What's an alien?
An extraterrestrial.
What's an extraterrestrial?
Somebody from an extra planet.
What is terrestrial?
Terrestrial is
What
Earth.
is terrestrial?
Of Earth, the Earth.
It is extra of Earth. So it's not of this planet. Ultimately, is what. Sorry to chime in.
No, you're good.
Extraterrestrial.
That's what I figured. But like anything not of this planet, and if you're not of this dimension, you're not of this planet. I would count an extra dimensional being. Well, they would be extra dimensional, but I would still count them as an alien. Mm-hmm. Like you can't just come in this bitch. My name is Guarg from the third dimension. I was like, you're a fucking alien. No, I'm from Earth 797. What'd I say, bitch?
Well, that gives me another, plane of thought on that. Because what if somebody was approached by angels? What if we just didn't know about it?
Are they the Ezekiel angels? The ones with that are like 18 wheels and a bunch of eyes?
That might be what went down.
That's one of my favorite things where it says this angel approached and said, "Be not afraid." He was like, I would be scared out of my fucking mind if I saw a flaming wheel full of eyes.
First thing I'd be scared of.
That's what did they say? That you can catch angel burn or some shit like that. What other aliens did they mention in the Bible? I guess the other people who were already on Earth that they said weren't of God because we don't know where the fuck they came from.
These are already on Earth.
Yeah.
There was people on Earth before Adam and Eve?
Yeah, because Adam and Eve he said God made two people. Adam and Eve didn't have shit but sons.
Mm-hmm.
So where did the bitches come from? They came from the other people who were on Earth, people who were not of God.
It's crazy.
Heathens. But I think they mean brown people, if we're being 100.
Yeah, I didn't get that far.
This is the beginning of the Bible.
What you mean?
Today's episode is religion and aliens, you guys. And we have a person who didn't read the beginning of the Bible.
Hold on. I didn't get through Genesis. I didn't get to the part where it was other humans.
No, so you didn't get to the part where after they got kicked out of Eden then.
I did. It was I ain't know that.
So they left Eden. They had the sons, and then their sons had other children. And then their sons had wives. They didn't mention where the wives came from. They were just like, oh yeah, they had these hoes.
So what was with all the incest? There was other people out there.
There was no incest.
There was a lot of incest.
Not in their family.
Abraham literally married his sister, his half sister.
Well, that's Abraham. Abraham was
Jacob
that guy.
married his half sister. Well, Jacob married his cousin.
But what I'm saying is Adam and Eve did not commit incest, and neither did their children. The first line of human beings didn't commit incest. Now, as far as what Abraham did, Abraham spoke to God. He had to sign off to do whatever he wanted to do. He was that nigga of his time.
Yeah.
Jacob,
Jacob was a tricky son of a gun.
I don't know. We said religion was going to be the topic of the show. Did we just mean Christianity? Because I'm equal opportunity.
Well, I know you don't believe in God.
I believe in God.
No, you don't.
I do. You don't believe in God.
What do you believe in?
I believe in God.
The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
Hell no.
So what do you believe in?
That's the demiurge.
So what do you believe in?
I believe in the true God.
What's the true God?
Existence is the true God. Energy is the true God. Everything is God. God is supposed to be omnipresent and omnipresent and omnipowerful. You can't be omnipresent if you're not everything, if you're not energy.
Well, don't you think? Well, I mean, in science, they would call it energy. In the streets, they would call it vibes. But in the biblical context, they would call it spirit. So is there any chance that that's spirit that you're speaking of?
Spirit is God. You have the Holy Spirit, you have God, and you have the Son.
So if existence is God, what do you look for truth and wisdom?
What do you mean? I look everywhere. You have the potential to learn truth and wisdom everywhere you go. If you want to learn humility, you look to a poor person. That is the part of God that will teach you humility. If you want to learn peacefulness, you look to nature. That is the part of God that will teach you peacefulness, trees, rivers, and lakes and shit. If you want fury, if you want to learn about the righteous fury of God, you look both within yourself and find the violence of a human being and then enact it upon them as God's vengeance.
So, my thing with that is that Lamar just made all that shit up just then.
What you mean?
That's based off nothing.
No, that's based off what I believe.
That's based off what you believe.
Because people be like, "Oh, God is vengeful. I was like, God is everything. He can be whatever he wants to be. You can't personify as a non-human entity."
I just don't find peace in believing that the earth was just, created out of a pure act of randomness, and there's nothing to solidify how you are supposed to have peace and self-control and love within yourself.
By that you mean like the Big Bang and shit?
Yeah.
So you're saying religion is where you find peace because if all this is random, then
because
everything
at
is
least
nothing.
if you read the Bible, like there's wisdom in there, and if you live your life according to what the Bible says, you can live a peaceful, fruitful life. Whereas if you just believe in whatever and you talking to crackheads to learn humility, then it's like you can just you're working off of your own being, and at that point you're your own God.
Well, no, humans are also God.
Mm-hmm. So how are humans God?
Because God is omnipresent.
But if God is, so is there a hierarchy in this acid fueled plane of existence?
No. Okay, so imagine this. Imagine if I am a single entity. Now, I don't pretend to understand the complete wisdom of God because that, of course, is a folly, and nobody can do that. But if I am a single entity that then begins creation and I put myself in everything, there is no hierarchy.
So who made it?
What do you mean? The original. God.
So that means is he living?
Yes. God is. And now
so wouldn't that make him at the top of the hierarchy?
No, not if he's ever everything. Because if you're God, how does the God?
So how can you be an original but not be the Most High?
Then that's the answer. That answer is time.
Time is the Most High?
No. Well, a point of origin. So case in point, a spider creates, however so many babies, or a starfish creates however so many legs. Mm-hmm. These are all things that are part of the starfish. They're still all within the starfishes of the spider's control. However, there's one point of origin. Mm-hmm. So I guess the original consciousness of God, whatever's the first consciousness that was speaking to them in the Bible, that would be the Most High. Mm-hmm. Whereas the rest of us were just lower tiers of bootleg God. Mm-hmm. Because we have all the same abilities. We have the ability to create. We have the ability to destroy. We have the ability to discern judgment upon life itself, I guess. If humans wanted to end the earth, we could just end earth.
Do you think that there's an enemy of God?
Yeah.
Who would that be?
It's also God.
It's also God.
God is omnipresent.
God is his own enemy.
Yeah. So are you? You were your own worst enemy, are you not? And we were made in God's image. That's like when people read the Bible and they say, oh, well, the devil is always trying to oppose God and the devil did this. God made the devil. Not only that, God knows everything. That's like your mom knows everything. God didn't make this beautiful motherfucker without knowing that he was going to become vain and rebel and have all this, and then have him do a job that he would eventually need him to do. If you believe in heaven and hell, which I don't. But if you do, God already knew what Satan was up to. He's 1,000 million steps ahead. I also don't believe, the Most High is a he, but, for the purposes of our Christian audience, he, the one Father God. Mm-hmm.
So you think God is a lady?
No, I think God has no gender. Why would God have a gender? That's definitely personifying. Mm-hmm. That's limiting the power of God. Mm-hmm. If God could be a burning bush, what makes you think he has a penis? Mm-hmm. It's the patriarchy, the people that wrote the Bible. Mm-hmm. But they did that in all the religions, though. They changed a lot of religious texts to give God a masculine presence. So that's why they say Father over here. And then they also changed a lot of creator gods to men, like what is it? The Chinese creation god used to be a woman. Now, for some reason, all the venerated gods of the Chinese culture, which are like half of the 7 gods of fortune, are all men. They don't mention the creator goddess.
So when God made man, you think It was just like I'm gonna just choose this. I'm gonna just call it man.
You know, like the first bipedal motherfucker that he threw out.
So, you know, my core issue with this is that he just made all that shit up. He's on mushrooms, and there is a tiny person. There's a tiny person living in a scarf like Ratatouille that makes him that gives him jokes and that just makes him say and do things.
That would be a good movie though.
Just a nigga, just a nigga.
Kind of like a comedian stealing jokes from a guy in a coma. Save that clip for me. We probably won't go in the episode, but save that clip for me as a guy in a coma giving a comedian ideas to become famous. I like that.
A guy in a coma.
Yes.
Where did the coma come from?
I don't know.
This is a crazy Negro. It came from the.
I wish I had my tape recorder. Idea for a movie. Guy in a coma wants to be a stand-up comedian. But yes, that's when you expound upon religion, and I tell people this all the time, which is important to say to both the viewers and to you. No matter what religion you choose, no matter what faith path you choose, you have to critically analyze everything. People feel like that by questioning the Bible or questioning their religion, they're doing wrong. But that's exactly what, the organization doesn't want you to ask questions.
Well, if it's thousands of versions of them, why wouldn't you question anything that you see in it and look for more understanding?
Because that's why when people go to church, they're like, don't question the Bible, don't question your preacher.
Well, really, when you go to church, they don't even really read the Bible.
Exactly. You're getting a book report from somebody else who read it.
Because it's barely even a book report, because a lot of the times you go to these churches and they might have a couple of verses that they put up on a big monitor, but other than that, it's just quotes from them. Church has really just turned into like an alpha male podcast, and a lot of the times you get more quotes from your pastor than you do from the actual word.
A lot of people love their pastor more than they love God.
You know why I believe in the Bible so much? Because everyone seems to hate it.
No, it's the best-selling book of all time.
But it's the best-selling book that doesn't get opened.
What? Well,
and it's been around longer than most books.
You said something with that one. A lot of people have Bibles but don't really read them.
That's the reason I believe in the Bible so much, is because one, people are like nobody, like there's not, hundreds of thousands of versions of the Quran. There's not hundreds of thousands of versions of Buddhist texts. You never hear,
because they're open and shut.
You know what I'm saying? Open and
they're not open for interpretation.
You feel me?
They're just lists of facts. Muhammad said this. Mm-hmm. And it can be traced to.
But even in other religions, they all point back to the Bible. Like Muhammad believed in, God having a son.
Yeah.
That died. Whereas the people who follow Islam or, whatever, they don't believe that.
Well, no, they believe Jesus was just another prophet. They don't believe he was the son of God because they believe all people are the children of God.
So that's my thing.
You can't be more special than us if we're all God's children.
The person that was the messenger for this religion, you like the overall word that he spoke and you like the overall teachings, but you have a qualm with this one man being the Son of God. And that's what makes me believe in the Bible so much, is because I know that we live in a world that is full of deception. And so if there is anything that people are pointing to say this is wrong, like, okay, you're a Muslim, that's cool. You're a Buddhist, that's cool. You're trans, that's cool. Whatever you believe in, that's cool. We can all coexist. But if you're out here just believing in the Bible and using this as law, then you're wilding.
Your father must be a preacher.
He is, but I do have qualms with his style of.
He's a Baptist preacher or a Kojic preacher?
He's non-denominational, but I mean he's a Christian. But my thing about church is that I don't feel like, say for instance, shout out my father, great man, wonderful guy, was a good dad. His kids, he has 2 daughters. It feels like he's a deadbeat. But what can you do? They're black. I feel like once a black woman comes of certain age, dads become deadbeats. Unless you were just a knock it out of the park.
Yeah, unless he was an amazing father.
Perfect relationship. Like the relationship was great. You were, you went to the doctor with them.
You saw sister.
And you beat a nigga up, sister.
I was like, I'm saying, if you want a good example of black fatherhood, you saw sister.
Yeah.
Not the punk ass dad from Owisha, but.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: anybody who believes in God, and I'm always like, it's okay to believe in the Bible, it's okay to believe in the Quran, but anybody who believes in God and what God is supposed to represent, you have to accept all religions.
What is he supposed to represent?
True power.
And where does that come from?
What do you mean?
Like, where does like that plane of thought, that plane of belief, where does it originate?
Oh, that originates from just, original man. Original man, they worship shit like the sun and the sky. But those are all just, those are placeholders for God, because that's the most powerful thing that they can fathom.
But
they couldn't think to themselves, okay, there has to be something that made all this. They couldn't think that far. Mm-hmm. So they just chose the most powerful thing at the time. And they was like, okay, this is what we're going to worship. God is supposed to represent pure power. And in the God that I believe in, all that shit is possible. When people are like, so you believe in the Bible? I was like, hell yeah, I believe in the Bible. They was like, so you think Muslims are wrong? Hell no, they right too. Buddhists, everybody's right. Why? Because the God that I believe in has the power to do all this.
But if you believe but it's contradictory to believe in the Bible and still believe in other gods.
No, it's not.
How's it not?
They're all the same God, especially all the Abrahamic religions. Those are all the same God.
But if there was a point where the children of Israel were worshiping a golden calf, and so God asked, "Who is with me?" And
that was Moloch. That was a Babylonian god.
Did it say that in the Bible?
No, but that's who I know it is.
But if you believe in the Bible, you can't say that it's Babylonian.
No. Yes, you can.
Because the Bible, if you look at the Bible, it exists within itself. And if you read it, it says, hey, all that other stuff is nonsense. I'm not dealing with it. Because but just to finish off that story, God asked who was with me. The sons of Levi said us. And he said, all right, kill the rest of them. Kill about 2,000, 3,000 people.
Like I said, you can believe in the Bible. I believe in the Bible. I don't believe in the God of the Bible.
But that's like the whole thing.
No, it's not the whole thing. It's an account of events.
But I'm saying, but if you say that you do believe in the Bible and whatever frame you say you believe it, it says that in the beginning there was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So there's no way that you can look at the Bible and say, but y'all doing it right.
First
too.
of all, the Bible has to do. You can't read, and I tell the people all the time, you can't read the Bible just one way. You have to read the Bible cyclically. Read it as fact, read it as fiction, read it as a contradiction to itself. And the reason that you do this is because, just like with the Word of God, there will be small things here and there that are not of God.
Like what?
Whatever humans decided they wanted to say. Now, mind you, with that being said, I believe in an all-powerful God. And because I believe in an all-powerful and an omnipresent God, he would have made sure that everything is everything. The God of the Bible, which the Gnostics call the demiurge, says, there will be no other gods before me. You're God. You made people and you made everything and you control everything. Why the fuck would there be other gods, God?
What do you mean? Well, if I was someone that was God and I believe and I created spirit and I know of so many things, and I told you not to put any gods before me.
Where did they come from? Where did the gods come from?
Imagine him.
Exactly. See?
But if I made them and I asked y'all not to put any of them before me, what's inherently wrong about that?
There's a lot wrong with that.
Like what?
That's contradictory.
How's that contradictory?
Because in the Bible it doesn't say don't necessarily put them before me. It also says all those gods are bad.
No, it doesn't say all. It just says you will not have any idols.
Exactly, but you made the idols. Here's my thing.
It's just like I gave you the sun. I didn't ask you to worship it.
That's true. I'll give you examples like what is it? What did I say earlier? Oh, the Gnostics. Now, granted, not an actual religion, more of like a secret order of crazy motherfuckers who got kicked out of a bunch of different places. The Gnostics basically said that, in the center of the universe, the unknown and the known universe, so pretty much in the middle of everything, there are two perfect entities, which are creation and destruction. They live in perfect balance. However, with creation and destruction, things have to be created and then destroyed. So then they give spawn to 6 or 7 other entities. These things only exist to be created and destroyed by creation and destruction, and they have no other purpose in the balance. Therefore, all of these beings are in balance except for one. One is created with something extra, which is created with the desire to want something. The other 6 or 7 are just like, bitch, we get created, we get destroyed. That's what we do. This one is like, oh, I really want something. Don't y'all want things? They're like, bitch, what is want? And she's like, no. Well, not she. We're using she as the remedy. I don't believe that women are the root of all problems, but for the purpose of the Gnostic story,
I do.
She says, I want something. So what she wanted, and I think in the Gnostic text, Sophia, what Sophia wanted was the ability to create something.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, she sired a child.
Yeah.
However, you've never fucking created anything or destroyed anything. So she gives birth to this child in like a giant fucking flash of energy. And the child it's a formless monstrosity. It has no definite shape. It's fucking warping in and all out of the places. It's a fucking mess. It's a complete catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, this is why we're not supposed to do this. Creation and destruction are like, bitch, you're not supposed to be doing anything. So then she basically banishes it to the far reaches of the world. Now, mind you, it still has the ability to create. So this is what we call the demiurge. And as she has it in its own little box, what does it do? It creates and destroys over and over again. Chaotic, formless, creates and destroys. This is supposed to be the God of Abraham. And that's what Gnostics believe. Mm-hmm. The God of the Bible is just an angry, formless child.
So, but you agree that in order to believe that,
yes, they were crazy. They
to believe in the Bible is impossible, because you said that you have to read it as fact, but read it as fiction. So, which parts do you read as fact, and which parts do you read as fiction?
You have to read the whole thing. You can't be at balance unless you understand something two ways.
Huh?
If you read the Bible as fact and you say, okay, if everything in this was true.
So when he created Adam and then took Adam's rib and used that to create Eve, and Adam said, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, is that fact or fiction?
A little bit of both.
So
now, what about now? Some say Adam had a first wife. Is that fact or fiction? A little bit of both.
But I'm saying, at what point in the Bible did it say that he had a first wife before Eve?
It's in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
The Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah.
Is that in the Bible?
It's not in the edited Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the Bible after the Council of Nicaea.
Mm-hmm.
But you still, so you don't count lost books as books of the Bible, like the Book of Enoch and stuff like that.
It would be hard for me to look at any other text as facts.
That's like listening to a Gucci Mane song with censors on. I said, that's like listening to a Gucci Mane song with censors on.
Well, it would just be hard for me to look at the Bible as fact.
Because they didn't release it?
And then also be like, well, this over here, I think this got something that I like too. So I just the Bible says that God doesn't deal in confusion. Like he doesn't deal in...
But people edited the Bible, which is why I said read it as fact and fiction, because they've already adulterated the word of God. Mm-hmm. Josh, you were aware about, the Dead Sea Scrolls. So I want to chime in. You remember the story of Adam's first wife?
No, I know that it exists. I don't know the story.
The story of Adam's first wife is Lilith. Mm-hmm. Lilith and Adam are created at the same time because God makes man and woman. He wants two creators. He makes a man and a woman. Adam, he tells Adam like, "Hey,
he made two women for Adam." Shout out God.
Well, no, he made Eve of Adam. He made Lilith at the same time. However, after, they both, this is before the Apple thing happened. They also had consciousness, kind of, sort of. But he basically is like, bitch, God made me first. I'm a man. I'm better than you. So he tries to, subjugate her. And it says subjugate, but the context is he tries to rape her. He tries to force himself on her. Because he's like, I'm a man, you're a woman. We're the people that God made. This is what we're supposed to do. You are for me. I own you. And she's like, fuck that. So she rebels and then is cast out of Eden and then supposedly is turned into like a demon temptress that eats babies. Men added that last part, but she's expelled from Eden because God is like, y'all fuck it up.
So wait, so hold on. So this happened and then she was made into a temptress that eats babies, and that's the part that man edited.
That's the part that's the part that's up for interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel that you don't gain anything from these Dead Sea Scrolls.
Why not?
You don't gain anything from the story, because if you look at these Dead Sea Scrolls and then you say, well, it's up for interpretation, then you just have confusion. But if you look at the Bible, so
there's no confusion in the Bible?
Nah.
Okay, so watch this. In the Book of Enoch, it talks about...
Is that in the Bible?
It should be. They took it out of the Bible.
But
in the Council
we're
of
talking
Nicaea.
about the Holy Bible. If you start throwing out other books,
What Bible are you reading? The King James Bible?
The Holy Bible.
Which Bible?
The Bible that they.
There's the King James Bible. There's the New
Bible
Testament.
that they translated from Hebrew manuscripts, and then they
didn't translate that shit from Hebrew manuscripts.
Those Hebrew manuscripts into Greek manuscripts, and then they were translated into the King James version.
The original Bible wasn't in Hebrew. The original Bible was in Aramaic.
It was both. Hebrew and Aramaic.
You know which one came first?
Aramaic.
Exactly. And nobody reads fucking Aramaic, not even Hebrews. Hebrews were like, we think they said this. That's how you begin a long game of telephone.
Jehovah's Witnesses try to translate Aramaic in the true context that the words are, because you take the word hell. It is used 11 times in one translation of the Bible and only 7 times in another translation. And it's all because the people who translated it from whatever the original language was into Latin and then English, that was their depiction. It is literally an interpretation, and sometimes they will get the context wrong.
See?
So a lot of times, sorry, let me add this last bit, but hell in some of those terms is referred to as the pit, simply the absence of the light, and in the other cases, it's the place outside of Jerusalem where they burn their trash, their dead, and they sacrifice children to prior gods.
Which works. Human sacrifice does work.
Well, I think
human sacrifice was in the Bible. So for all you Christians that are going to get mad,
human sacrifice in the Bible.
Yeah,
where?
A couple of times, God almost made Abraham kill his son.
He didn't make him kill his son.
He was going to.
But I'm saying, no, he wasn't.
Didn't he tell him to kill his son?
He told him to take him to the mountain and sacrifice him. What he was going to do, he was like, wait, hold on.
So when Moses killed all those firstborns, you know what happens to them?
That wasn't human sacrifice.
That was a human sacrifice.
That was y'all wilding.
Have you read about ritual sacrifice?
But I'm saying that was y'all wilding, and we're gonna retry this.
That's a ritual sacrifice.
That's not how is that a ritual sacrifice? Who was he sacrificing them to?
What? To God.
He was sacrificing them to himself?
Oh, you said who was God sacrificing them to?
Yeah.
No, he made the humans do it. Technically Moses killed those people.
No, he didn't. He just took the animals and put them on a boat.
Moses summoned the spirit. You thinking about Noah. Moses summoned the spirit. That swept through Egypt and killed the firstborn. And he excluded the ones that God shan't take. You see? That's ritual sacrifice. They don't talk about magic enough in the Bible and where magic is in the Bible. And I don't like that.
Wait. Hold on. Moses didn't do any sort of ritual on these people.
He did.
These were acts of God.
See, no. And then anybody who's a practitioner of anything will tell you this. When you correspond with a higher spirit to call upon and or facilitate physical change, you know what that's called? That's called magic, nigga.
But this is
Christians don't seem to think they do magic.
But
God, please smite that person. If God smites that person, you're a fucking wizard.
But this is you taking the Bible in of itself and being like, I'm gonna put this witch stuff on it because I like the idea of witches.
No,
and I wear headscarves.
First of all, black people aren't witches. I don't like the idea of witches. They do their own thing though. The point is, you have to read something as it is. You can't read something the way you want to read it. Magic was already present in the Bible. It was present before the Bible. You have to read the Bible with that in mind. So when a person walks in this room and turns a staff into a snake and says, hey, I just talked to an intangible force that's gonna fuck with y'all if y'all don't do what it is I need you to do.
But still, in of itself, there was no point where Moses came up with the idea to kill babies and he was like, hey, God, can you do this for me?
That's magic.
There was no point where that happened. So this is man just making stuff up. But this is why I believe in the Bible so much, because people take so much time to look at the text and be like, nah, I feel like this is really what happened.
No, that's what happened.
If you look at it.
God told him what to do.
You show me the script. You show me the verse where Moses said, yo, God.
He begged God to help free his people. That's all you have to do. You don't come up with the terms of the deal.
This is a crazy Negro.
Have you ever rubbed a genie lamp? You asked the genie, hey, I want $1 million. You didn't describe to the genie how to get it done. You don't tell the genie how to get it done. Not to compare y'all's God to a genie.
That's funny. This is.
That's how magic works.
This is funny.
That's what Christians want the Bible to be miraculous, but not magic. And I think that's hilarious. You're like, no, that's a miracle.
But it wasn't a miracle from himself. This is something that.
So would God have freed them without Moses?
When God,
because they were slaves first, and God didn't give a shit. You remember that?
When Jacob was forced to work for 18 years for a man who changed his wages 10 times and tricked him, and then he closed Rachel's womb, which was his favorite wife that he actually loved, and then finally gave her a child in Joseph, and then Joseph's brother hated him because he was the favorite, and he was sent away.
I too have read the Bible
to learn from these people. Like, this was all its own story. So this wasn't, hey God, my people are doing bad, can you do some juju?
Like I said, he asked God for help. You don't decide how the help comes. That's the beauty of prayer, and that's the beauty of magic.
But you're not doing magic, though.
Yes, you are. Prayer in itself is manifestation of magic. We'll discuss. We'll finish this off camera. Give us the cynical fact for the end of the episode.
The cynical fact for the end of the episode is that Lamont is a witch and he sacrifices cats so that his sun god can grant him matching sets that he wears on the podcast. And next week, we're going to be talking about money.